Welcome to Season 12 of the Social Work Rants Podcast, providing an inside look of the social work mental health profession, social work being political, the struggles of social work entrepreneurship, the intersectionality of mental health and finances as it relates to social work and society as a whole. Let's get it. Hope you enjoy. Hello, social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to another episode, the season 12 finale of the Social Work Rants Podcast. I'm your host, Bash Moreno. Saludos a todos. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in wherever you are watching or listening to the podcast. I appreciate all the love and support. Gracias a todos por su apoyo. Continue to follow the podcast on Instagram at the Social Work Rants Podcast. That is all one word. And of course, hit that red subscribe button on the YouTube channel. And leave comments, leave reviews, leave 5-star review. I'll get back to you, download episodes. And thank you for continuing your support. So July 1st, a lot of changes happening with student loans. This episode is all about student loan updates. If you still have student loans, this episode is strictly for you. A continuation. I've done several episodes on student loans and the way the U.S. government is going with slowly dismantling the Department of Education and all the changes they're doing with student loans. Every time I do a student loan episode, things constantly change, so it's not even like updated information. So you can kind of tell based on if you listen to all the student loan episodes where the government has been going from the Biden administration to the Agent Orange administration. So changes with the same plan nearly save 7 million. Took a lot of notes, so I'm reading on the notes. Nearly 7 million borrowers will start receiving 90-day notices from their loan servicers starting July 1st, forcing folks to choose a new repayment plan within 90 days. 90 days might seem like a lot of time, but it really isn't a lot of time. So as soon as you get the letter, from what I've seen, um, 90 days from the date of the letter that you receive. For any reason you don't get a letter or you're already trying to plan ahead, go to studentaid.gov, contact your service provider, whatever that is, whether it be NelNet. I don't know if people still have Mohelia, but whatever your student loan carrier is, reach out to them, especially if you're really close to having PSLF, your loans forgiven. Definitely do those things and make sure you pick a plan because when we talk about personal finances, myself as a certified financial social worker, regarding student loans, it really is highly stressed. The word personal and personal finances. So it really affects a lot of people. Again, you got to choose a new repayment plan within 90 days. Borrowers who fail to select a new repayment plan will be auto-enrolled into either a standard plan or a tiered standard plan. And so your monthly repayment will be higher than it currently is. The Repayment Assistance Plan and the new tiered standard plans launch on July 1st, along with existing plans such as IBR, PAYE, and ICR. So those plans are still in existence, so there's new plans coming. Loan servicers will be issuing notices on starting July 1st. Check your mail, check your email. You might be even getting robocalls from your service provider um, regarding these notices. And borrowers will likely have to exit out of the current forbearance that they're currently in no later than September or October of 2026. So starting the fall, a lot of things are happening, back to school. If for my school social workers, if you got kids, kids are going back to school, August, September. So, October it is already like a low, depending on your school district as school social workers, or you work at a school, or just work at an organization with a lot of days off. There's a lot of Jewish holidays, or there's Indigenous Day, all those type of holidays. A lot of people get off, so be mindful of all these notices. So I'm gonna break down a couple of these repayment plans. So one of them is the Repayment Assistance Plan, also uh, acronym is RAP, yeah, like hip hop rap, RAP. It bases monthly payments on borrower's income number and dependents claimed on their tax returns. So whatever your income is, if you actually made some money and you claim dependents, how much you going to repay back is based on your tax return and your dependents. Uh, this includes a subsidy that prevents unpaid interest from growing on the principal balance as long as the borrower makes the full scheduled payment on time each month. For Forgiveness happens after 30 years after qualifying payments, and it qualifies for PSLF. There's a lot of stuff within that. Just be mindful of the payments. I would suggest, for any new updated information, I've had two guests on the podcast, Dr. Sonia Lewis and Robert Farrington. Dr. Lewis, her handle is the student loan doctor, and Robert Farrington's handle on Instagram is the college investor. I would suggest following those accounts with any changes, additional changes the Trump administration is going to be doing, or if you're confused on this episode of what you may need to do regarding your student loans, if you still have student loans. The next repayment plan is the IBR, the Income Based Repayment Plan. Anyone borrowing out loans after July 4th of 2014 face a 10% discretionary income. So basically, your payments are based on 10% of discretionary income, whatever that discretionary income looks like. And I know, think of it like food stamps, or things like that. Like if somebody's on SSI and they get a cost of living increase from the SSI check, so their food stamps are going to come down because you got additional income, even though like you see that money, or it goes through inflation or things like that nature. And there is a forbearance, a forgiveness window based on IBR. The PAYE and the ICR plans will potentially close on July 1st, 2027. There's also things related to that as well. So again, be mindful of the importance of what plan you need to pick. And again, your personal finances. So your situation is going to be different from anybody else you may see online who might be talking about student loans. Uh, so yeah, each person's situation is different. That's why it's called personal finance. The tiered standard plan assigns re, repayment terms based on the balance. So for 10 years, the balance is under $25,000, which is like the term of your student loans. For 20 years, so your repayment lasts for 20 years. If your balance is from 50,000 to $99,999. Repayment or forgiveness after 25 years. If your balance is 100K or more. So I know many of my peers got their doctorate degrees, and I'm sure they took student loans out of that, and I'm sure those degrees are expensive. And if you already have the only difference with the tiered standard plan is there's no income component and there's no forgiveness towards student loan forgiveness. So I guess a lot of people wouldn't, especially if you're trying to get PSLF, you probably would not be doing the tiered standard plan. But you got to make sure that you pick a plan or a plan will be picked for you. Think of it like people on Medicaid and they got to pick a HMO attached to their Medicaid. If you don't pick one, one gets picked for you. Standard repayment plan, 10 years fixed plan remains available and remains PSLF eligible. And those everybody's situation is different. I'm gonna highly stress that over and over again. So if you're not paying for be paying student loans at some point uh, in the fall, and many folks might be uh, getting a standard repayment plan. So here's what you can do. You know, moving from the same plan to forbearance to income-driven repayment plan or standard plan. Uh, I guess I just said this is increasing in monthly payments. So, the Biden administration did the SAVE plan, and there was a lot of litigation going back and forth in courts. Now the SAVE plan is kaput. So a lot of folks that were on the SAVE plan were also forbearance. You didn't have to make any payments if you didn't have to make any payments. So a lot of people didn't have to pay student loans, especially during COVID, things of that nature. Biden came in during COVID and spent a lot of time on student loans. So a lot of people were on forbearance and not having to worry about making any mandatory payments to student loans. Now we have to make mandatory payments to student loans. So expect increases in monthly payments. So start planning now to start saving. I don't know from where, because with inflation, gas prices, cost of living is ridiculous in 2026. So, like I said earlier, go to studentaid.gov, go to your service provider portal. If you haven't picked a plan, pick a plan that suits you for your financial needs. Run a student loan calculator with your latest tax return and compare plans and monthly payments. Those are ways you can combat um, which plan suits you. And again, the accounts I mentioned, follow those accounts. They I always want to talk about student loans. I've been to have mine forgiven, but I still pay attention because I know a lot of people still dealing with student loans. With my business, helping folks in the sandwich generation, uh, clients, still dealing with student loans. So I'm helping out, my clients as well, and just to be educated for myself so I can educate, my clients. Um, and you need to understand, your PSLF status. So I know there's a lot of people close to forgiveness. So it's important you try to get PSLF. That yes, it's still a thing. The government is not going to say, it's not going to tell you that you can still qualify for PSLF. But yes, if you're close, it's still a thing. You can get your loans forgiven under the PSLF. The Agent Orange administration is not going to tell you that you can do that, but you can qualify in order to do that. You just got to do the steps, do what you need to do to get close to get your loans forgiven. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some work. But if you do the work and follow good information, I'm trying to educate you on this information. Some of the stuff I actually got from Robert Farrington's website as well, and from what reading online. So um, do what you will with the information. My goal is to help my fellow social workers, mental professionals, those with student loan payments, those who can qualify for PSLF, and this is what you should be doing, focusing on in terms of your personal finances, and eventually get that off your credit report, and you can focus those payments regarding student loans and do whatever you want with that additional income once that's paid off. Um, that being said, there's also a lot of for those who want to get into social work, into MSW programs. There's a lot happening in terms of student loan caps, um, grad school, parent plus loans, and all that stuff with the caps. That's happening. That's going to affect folks getting into the field or already in the field and having their degrees paid for. Uh, Definitely get the most updated information you can. I gave you two accounts to follow online on Instagram, and yeah, keep up up to date as best you can. I don't want to see stuff online about I'm not paying my student loans. Say, hold on, those student loans. Yo, it's going to affect your credit. You don't want your credit jacked up because of student loans. So, and I know it sucks. We haven't been paying student loans. There's no reason to pay student loans for a while, and now all of a sudden we got to come up with money that we may not have to pay into student loans. You don't want the default on these loans. It's going to jack up your credit. It's just more drama, in terms of your personal finances. So let's get it together. It sucks, but this is the cards that we're being dealt with, and we gotta play the game to stay up to date and do what we need to do. So I hope this episode was pretty clear. I try to do the best I can to explain what is happening, break down some of these payment plan options. And again, your personal finances is your own personal finance. Just because your best friend or your homegirl who's also a social worker is doing this, don't mean you got to do the same thing, because your situation is different from anybody else. So what you see online, and people, there's going to be a lot of chatter online eventually about student loans, and just your personal situations, your own personal situations. So all that to be said, uh, season 12 is a wrap. Season 13, we're going to continue trying to get to these 300 episodes at the bare minimum. And as long as Agent Orange keeps doing dumb shit, I'm going to keep talking about it. If it affects social work, the profession, and our work and our clients, then I'm going to keep talking about it. So until next time, I'll talk soon. Peace. Stay safe.